Welcome everybody back to the podcast. Fear the Hive, 11:55. I'm
Um,
Dom, my co-host Steven.
how y'all
We're
doing?
back. Oh, you guys are too much. Stop it. Man.
Some of
Oh,
things are working real hard. I see working real hard.
hey, look, man. I gotta do what I can. Sometimes I'm very easily amused, and that was one of the things that amused me. And I totally
Yes.
forgot that we have the media, the soundboard in here. So I'm going to make a conscientious effort to use it more. So yeah.
Okay. That's dope. That's dope. I can appreciate the live studio audience with us today and all that means. It's great. Wow. You give a man a set of buttons and you get what you get. It's like giving black people a microphone.
Easily amused.
A
Hey,
roll of the dice, baby. It's a roll of the dice.
hey, I'm very easily amused, like I said.
Well, look, I'm going to start then. First of all, with happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Everybody say happy anniversary to Dominique.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Now tell our viewing audience how long you've been married. And my question, I know it might be a rabbit hole. How did you know she was the one?
So we've been married since 2014. So that's 8 years, going on 9 years soon. And
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. Honestly, it's weird because it feels like it's no time at all, but yet you look back and it's a long time.
It always feels that way. It's like we just did this,
Right.
but you're about to hit a decade. That's what's up.
Right. How did I know she was the one? Well, for me, I'm a very nonchalant guy,
Uh-oh.
and she was the one woman that really challenged me. So that's when I was like, well, it's got to be something here if she's willing to challenge me like that. Because it's not been. I haven't had many challenges. Well, I haven't been challenged by women before, so that's why it was very interesting to
Good
have
catch,
that.
by the way, because that was a good catch. Good catch. I was about
Hey,
to
man.
needle you there because what it sounded like you said is that the game came easy, right?
Well, I'm not saying it was hard either, but I'm just saying, I'm just saying, it's a lot. I'm a lot smoother than my head now. It is what it is. So,
Wow. Okay.
hey,
All right. All
hey,
right. All
hey,
right.
man, hey, put me on butter because I'm on a roll.
Was that in the tuck? Is that the dad joke that you've been holding on to for an appropriate occasion? Because what it sounds like is you were prepared for that moment.
I'm always prepared for those moments. As a dad, you get handed, as soon as your child's born, they hand you a book called Dad Jokes, and it's like, hey, good
I
luck.
didn't get that book. I did not get that book. Uh, I've been told that I make up my own dad jokes, and they're even worse than the regular dad jokes. So it's all good. All right. So 9 years, and it was because she challenged you. Now, was there any specific incident, like were y'all out at Chipotle and she was like, "Get the chorizo," and you was like, "I want the beef." She was like, "No, you want the chorizo," and you was like, "Oh, you the one." Oh,
Nah. No, it was more so along the lines of she challenged me to be better and to do more and to go after the things that I wanted to do, the things that I had in my mind that I felt like I wanted to do, but
mhm.
kind of needed that extra nudge.
Okay.
And that is, and a lot of people might take that for granted, but that's something that's very rare.
No,
At
that's
least
dope.
what I've seen. Because for some people, they wouldn't want to cross that line to make it feel like they. Some people, emotionally unintelligent people, will take that as you're harping on me. You're getting on my case
Yeah,
instead of
yeah.
seeing it for what it is. So there were times where sometimes the things that she would say, that's what I would feel it was that. But then again, I have to get out of my feelings and say, okay, well, maybe she was just, telling me what exactly what I needed to hear, not necessarily stroke my ego, but to push me.
Dude. So the duality of love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Accepting your mate for where they are and wanting better for them at the same time. Like it's a push and a pull that gets really, you have to be very purposeful about it because if not, like you said, it could seem like you're always on someone's case,
Yeah.
or on the other end of the spectrum, it could seem like you don't care at all, so you never say anything at all. So, it's I feel you with the value in that, right? Because that's very valuable, especially in a mate that's looking to see you experience your best self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's a big part of a growing and maturing relationship as well. It's like I love how you are now,
Yeah.
and I want to see the best for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of maturing in a relationship, that's something along the lines where, um, if you're in a relationship and you guys aren't having the hard conversations, are you actually in a progressing relationship?
That's the question, man. Because people don't like having the hard conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And
that's
the hard conversation could be anything as far as, hey, do you really love me? Or, how do you feel about XYZ? Or, how do you handle finances? How are we going to handle parenting?
or why do you put sugar on your grits? All hard conversations.
Hey, man, I actually do. Yes, I kind of actually do that. So that's my wife family gives me grief for that. That's
Look, look. Funny part is, I do not put sugar on my grits, but if there's syrup on my pancakes and it goes into my grits, I'm going to stir it in.
oh yeah, it's gonna mix.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Definitely. And I won't feel bad about it. Like it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like I'll never put sugar on my grits, but syrup. Hey, they
Yeah.
got something there with that old sugar grits thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel you there now. Okay. She
Yeah.
challenges you to do better and to be better. So the question I have now is, right? Because I'm nosy, and I know I'm not the only one that wants to know.
Well, I
How,
mean, our audience is getting to know us as well, so it is.
well, they're gonna get to know you real good on this one. How and when did you propose?
Ooh, when did I propose? Now I don't. Crazy things I don't even remember.
I don't think
When
that's the right
like
answer. I
like
don't think that's the
no,
right
no,
answer.
I don't think I remember when, like, the specific time and date.
Uh,
But
uh,
how I do remember.
okay.
And my wife listening to this, she's definitely going to agree and say she wants it done over, which I can agree with her. But
I mean, contrary to social media, many of us don't get the proposal right. Like we have it
exactly,
all in our minds,
exactly.
like all planned out, and then adrenaline starts pumping. We start hyperventilating, and then hey, you gonna
Yeah.
marry me? What? we're not even we're not even at the restaurant yet.
Right.
The boat hasn't even taken off from the dock yet. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. But essentially the how, me and my wife, well, then girlfriend, we were having a party at her mom's house with some friends, and just barbecue, nothing special,
mhm.
and just invited everybody over, and I don't remember. I don't remember. I think I told anybody, and I just asked everybody to come in the room, and and whatnot, and I got down on one knee, and like just like you said, I had this whole speech of like a mix of Shakespeare and and some other stuff, and it didn't happen that way. It was like, we marry
Baby,
me?
I loveth thou because thou
Yeah,
peest out the besteth in me. Would thou be
like yonder window
betrothed
breaks.
to me? Will you take this ring, please, baby? You say yeah. Would you? I had it written down, but I lost the paper,
Oh yeah, I love yeah.
and I just need to know if you're gonna marry me. Is that cool?
But yeah, that's how it happened, and you know, never look back. Definitely, never look back, and it was awesome. It has been awesome, and will continue to be awesome.
That's what I'm talking about. Can you speak towards the never looking back aspect of it? Because the question I want to know is, what have you learned? But you already
Mm,
told us a whole lot of what you learned. And that
mm.
no looking back is big. Can you please help the viewing audience with a sage marital advice?
So the best advice that I have for anybody is whatever happened the day before, just don't go to bed angry and wake up to do it another day. Wake up with a fresh, clean slate every day. One thing one of the biggest tokens that I've come to know is that love is not this magical thing that just happens, or stars and the planets aligning. That's not love. That's complete BS. That's science. Love
astrology. That's not love.
Yeah, love is choosing the person that you're with every day.
Say it louder for the people in the league.
Yeah, it's choosing the one that you want to be with every day. It's not a feeling. I mean, you just get up and be like, man, I love this person. And loving this person means, regardless of whatever happens, throughout whatever happens, I'm choosing to love this person day in and day out. It's a choice.
Yo, okay, so on, I think it's Instagram or TikTok. I can't remember which one it is. I sound real old now that I can't remember what it is, but it's okay. I am old, so we're gonna let that ride.
Oh yeah.
There's this couple, and all they do is like angry love videos, right? You angry at someone, but you like love them, so you do like kind of mean stuff, but you loving stuff, but in a kind of like mean way.
Yep.
And it's absolutely hilarious. And what I think people miss in watching it is that it speaks to a lot of how people that are in committed relationships end up dealing with one another. Like, I'll be mad at you, but I love you. So even though, you asked me to get some water and I snatched the cup out of your hand a little bit, I'm going to bring you back the water. Right. Or, even though you asked me to cut off the light, I'm gonna flicker it a couple times, but I'm gonna cut it off. Like,
flicker right off the wall. or here's my favorite one.
You don't need that. You need that.
So here's my favorite one. When y'all mad at each other and you still trying to figure out if she mad at you, and she comes upstairs and you like, hey yo, the microwave still down there. Microwave still down there. Yes, it's still down there.
Are you asking me, did we get robbed? No, you're not. You're asking me if I'm still mad at you, and yes, I am still mad at you. There you go.
That's all you're asking, but you got to find some stupid way to ask it, and in your head it sounds good, but then when you say, you're like, I don't even know why. Like, I don't know why I said it. It's so stupid.
Man, look, if people knew how often real people in real actual committed relationships like love while they're mad, like you can't be in a successful relationship if you can't learn how to love while you're mad, right? And you separate, like you said earlier, love is a choice. It's a specific and actual actionable choice each and every day to be this way with that person, right? Like, that's it. And so if you're going to love, you're going to have, and you're going to love consistently or as consistently as you can, it's going to happen while you're not feeling the way that you felt about that person when you asked them to marry you, right?
Yep, exactly.
Because everybody believes you're going to feel that way, the way that you felt when you asked them to marry you or when you bought the ring, depending upon who you are, right?
Right.
Forever. No, you get that day, you get right as she says, I do, or he says, I do. You get the beginning of the honeymoon, because like day 3 of the honeymoon, it's always fraught with something.
Yep.
The day after the birth of your child, like you get these moments that are reminiscent, but the rest of the time, it's choosing to try your best to enjoy the person that you are committed to and are trying your best to love each and every day. And sometimes it's going to be good days, and sometimes it's going to be bad days, but
Yeah. Well, so have a bad memory. That's just like whatever. Like I said, whatever happened the day before,
man.
The next day is like, hey, I don't even remember it. Whatever. Let's move. Just always have a moving forward attitude.
Ted Lasso. You watch Ted Lasso?
I watched one episode. It is hilarious. I have to.
Dominic, you watched one episode of Ted Lasso.
I watched one episode.
Grief. I let you off the hook because you haven't seen The Wire because you were too young. But you have multiple Apple devices, which means you have, by my account, 10 years worth of Apple TV waiting on you. And even like you got to pay for it, right? And Ted Lasso is one of the best shows that has been on television over the last 5 years, bar none. The only thing that Ted Lasso said, be a goldfish. Because goldfish have 4-second memories.
Oh, wow.
Right. And this whole thing, and you'll watch it and you'll get his philosophy on life. And then the show will show you why he has this philosophy on life. And it'll show you the pitfalls of some of those of that philosophy if practiced, if it's not practiced conscientiously, and the benefits of it. But what he was trying to tell his players in a game that they lost in a rather dramatic fashion is that if you're going to progress forward, right, there's some things you're going to have to let go, right? And if you don't want to be paralyzed by mistakes in the past, then you got to be like a goldfish. Like, you have to be willing to let that go, or else you're always going to be affected generally negatively or adversely by these mistakes in the past. And relationships are the same way. Like, you got to be able to let some stuff go.
So that was I agree with everything you said, but does that speech work on the Denver Broncos?
Depends on what they letting go. They letting go their coach? I mean, they letting go their defensive coordinator. If the answer to both of those are no, I don't think it's going to work. Don't think it's going to work. Don't think it's going to work.
I don't think you can walk in there confidently and say that to them when they got 70 hung on them. But yeah.
If I was Russell Wilson, I'd walk into the meeting and I'd look at my head coach and my defensive coordinator, and I'd bring that picture of Mike McDaniels in the stands, letting fans call the plays so fantasy roster can get the right amount of points. He'd be like, look, y'all leave my name out of this until y'all can keep them under 40 points, right? Until then, don't say nothing to me about the offense. Don't say nothing to me about my stats. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing to me about hugging and kissing babies.
Give me my office.
Unless you give me my office and my trainer back until you can stop someone from scoring 40 points. That's all. And I walk out of the meeting, go to my office, and do my own.
You know where to find me.
You know where to find me.
In my office.
Yo.
But yeah, I'm sorry to derail us, but I had to take that opportunity. I had to take that opportunity.
Oh my gosh. Oh. And what makes it so bad was I love the fact that they were beating them to death. It just so happened that I was playing someone that had Tua Tagovailoa on their team, and I got destroyed. And then they took out Mostert. I had Mostert because, I had to balance it out. They took him out with like 3 or 4 touchdowns. It was real bad. I got beat.
But then I watched the post-game conference on both sides. Sean Payton and I think it was Tua that said this, but he was he was saying that, hey, you guys had the opportunity to tie the record. Why didn't you guys do it? And they were like, well, we didn't want to humiliate them. I'm like,
really?
So
70 is okay, but 73 is humiliation.
That's the threshold. That's the
Hey,
threshold.
man, as long as you clear about what it is.
Well, essentially, reading between the lines, they were saying, we don't mind beating the brakes off you, but we didn't want to beat the brakes off you so bad that you will forever be immortalized with this record.
Can we look at this another way? From this perspective, it looks like that Denver Broncos team is going to be so bad that the only bright spot that they would have in their season would be to be attached to a record. So by not scoring 73, it's, to me, a sign of disrespect. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think, for them, for them having the opportunity to kick the field goal and not doing it, because they held more restraint than I would. Because either I'm going for a touchdown, or I'm going for
77 sounds so much better than 73.
Yeah,
I'm going
to be the new record holder, or I'm going to be the person that recently tied the record. Like, hey, kick that field goal. Because there's no way they'd be like, hey man, I'm Mike McDaniel, and my assistant says, hey man, we're right here at the record. You want to kick the field goal?
Time out. I need a new play. It'd be a running play. It wouldn't be anything completely, like, it wouldn't be like no flea flicker junk. But I'm calling timeouts to rerunning the ball.
Or you turn around to the crowd and say, hey, who's got Mostert on their fantasy football team? You need another one?
Gotcha. And I'd have been like me, and then I would have won instead of losing by freaking 45 points. this weekend. But it's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah. But also, question for
What
you.
up? Uh-oh.
Well, we've got to know me a little bit. What about you? You're married to Miss Earth, aren't you?
I'm married to Miss Earth USA. Yes. Miss Carolina Women Rock. Yes, I am married to her. And we've been married for 17 years, going on 18 years next year. Yeah.
That's almost half my life.
Was that supposed to make me feel better about my number? Because it kind of feels like you're trying to say that I'm old.
No, I mean, take that for what you will. I'm just saying that's half my life. I'm 35. I'm at 30. I'm 30, 89, 34, 34. There we go.
So yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wait a minute. How old were you when I met you then? You're like 19?
Probably. Yes. Yes.
Now I feel old. Now I really feel old. Okay. But yeah, no. 17 going on 18. Amazing years.
Nice.
I am blessed. I'm a very intelligent, caring, hardworking, loving, some would say handsome man. I'm married up. Right. I'm married up. I got lucky. And it's been a wild ride, much more wilder in the last 60 days since I moved to Houston. But it's been an amazing ride. I wouldn't, if asked to do it again, I'd do it without, second thought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's good.
Yeah.
One of these days we're gonna have to get Miss Earth USA on the show.
We will certainly get her on, and she'll be in her crown, because she makes sure that when she makes public appearances that she is, in her crown, because that's what we do.
I'd have it no other way.
Have it no. Can I say this?
What's that?
I've never told this story in the public, just a different.
Oh shoot! Hot take?
No, it's not a hot take. This is more on the lines of exclusive, right? So, I've got social media, TikTok and Instagram and Twitter, but Facebook holds a special place in my heart because I met my wife on Facebook. Yep, sure did.
You're not the only one. Well, not Facebook, but online dating. Yes.
Well, I mean, I would imagine that when I did it, it was much less acceptable.
Well, no, it's not that it was much less acceptable. It's just that nobody would have thought to have used social media or the internet in that way.
Oh, no. They were. They just weren't looking for wives. Did up. just not looking for wives. If we're keeping it a buck, not looking for wives. Now, matter of fact, I would tell a story real quick, just for kicks and giggles. So my brother Michael, he comes back to the house. We were in Greensboro. Me and my three brothers were going to North Carolina A&T. We had a house because I was working, because I was older at the time. So we was balling off campus. Anyhow, he comes back to the house. He's like, yo, you got to try this thing called Facebook. I'm like, Facebook? He's like, yeah, man, you can poke girls, get their number, and man, y'all can go out and have a good time. I was like,
that sounds skeptical. What? For all of you kids that are just listening to this, yes, Facebook in its early days was used for that purpose.
In its early days, you had to have a college email address that was verified, and those are the only people that could be on Facebook. So, and you could only, at the beginning, you could only see the people that went to your college. So it wasn't even like a cross college thing, right? So I was like, what do you even mean? He was like, all right, don't worry, I'll show you. So I was in the library one night trying to like do work, and I don't know if he had come in or he was leaving or whether he saw me. He's like, yo, I'm gonna help you sign up. I said, sign up for what? He said, Facebook, man. I told you, man. I told you. So we sign up, and I'm like, all right, bet. He signed up, get the picture and all, get the profile. He's like, all right. So I was like, all right, so what you do now? He's like, you just message girls. What? I don't know these people. You ain't gotta know them. You can get to know them.
Sounds real creepy, but yeah.
So I wanted to go at that time. I'm big on animated movies. I was big on animated movies then. And so at that point in my life, I like stopped dating. I would just ask a classmate to go, like, if I wanted to eat, I'd be like, let's go have dinner together. Right. They'd be like, oh, you taking me on a date? This is not a date. I just don't want to eat alone tonight. I don't want to eat alone tonight. So I'm going to pay for you to eat. Oh, okay. And then I'd be like, oh, a good night kiss. I said, this was not a date. This was just us eating. Or we go to the movies. They're like, oh, we're going to the movies. We're going to make it. No, we're not. I'm not going to go to the movies by myself.
I don't want to be that creep that's just here by myself.
Yeah, especially to an animated movie. You can't go to an animated movie by yourself as a grown man. Doesn't exactly look good if you're in there with a whole bunch of kids by yourself.
Horrible optics, yes.
So, all right. So I'm on Facebook. I see a profile that likes animated movies too, the kind of movies that I like, and the picture is amazing. So I'm like, all right, I'm a poker like my brother said, because he has his finger on the pulse. Well, actually, he did kind of have his finger on the pulse. So I poked her. I sent a little message, a little poem, 21 questions minus 18, because I don't know, 50 Cent was hot at the time. So I'm riding the 50 Cent wave. She freaking messaged me back, and we went to have dinner. We went to have lunch. And then she went out of town for the weekend, and she came back, and we went and had dinner. And I was like, she the one. So it was like, it took all of 72 hours, bro. 72 hours.
See, I went to Shaw U, but yeah, man. But like all the women that I met there, especially there was just one particular one, and I'm not gonna say her name. Every time I saw her, she was like, "When you gonna give me something to eat?" I'm like, every time it was like, what's that girl off of Friday? Felicia.
Stop.
She was like that. That was like my Felicia. Everywhere I went, she would see me. Hey Dom, when you gonna take me to get something to eat? I'm like, yo, don't you?
Do I look like my name is Kroger's? I'm not a grocery store. Why you keep asking me about food? Why you keep asking me about food?
I lied to you not. Every time that I saw this woman, it was always, when you gonna take me to get something to eat? I'm like, nah, I'm good.
In fairness, I have heard that the cafeteria on Shaw's campus, maybe she was asking you that out of personal preservation. I mean, I think maybe you were looking at it the wrong way. Maybe it wasn't, I need for you to buy me something to eat. Maybe it was,
no.
I'm going to
everybody knew. Look. Everybody knew who not necessarily knew who I was. I kind of flew under the radar a lot because going to Shaw, it was my first HBCU experience. I came from, Germany, in a very diverse environment, to a strictly black environment.
Wait. You came from Germany to Shaw?
Yes.
In Raleigh?
Yes.
Bruh,
Major culture shock.
I went to NC State for like 3 years, right? Don't ask. But I had friends that went to Shaw. And you had fun, didn't you? Acclimating must have been an amazing experience for you.
So, and here's the thing. So if nobody's ever been to Shaw University, and in no way,
university. Let's start there, right? Great university, right? Good academics.
Yes.
They turn out really well-rounded.
Pastors. Yes.
Yeah, they really do. Mostly.
Yes. So
the ones that make it through.
Yes. So with that out the way, Shaw is in the middle of the ghetto. Middle of it. Like, I mean, you wouldn't want to be there at night by yourself walking down the street at all. Like, and my dad toured the school before I got there. And I'm not gonna lie, high school, I always made sure my grades were good enough during basketball season. I didn't really care too much, even though it was a homework. I despise homework. But either way,
I was a straight A student while I was suiting up, and then I didn't go to class otherwise. Okay, go ahead. I just wanted to make light of that. Go ahead.
It's just I despise this thing called homework. Like, I sit 8 hours in your class, in your school to do this work, and you want to send me home with it. I have a problem with that, but whatever. But so.
I mean, the burden of a teacher to make sure that their student learns sometimes necessitates. You know what? Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Some of us didn't need the extra work. Okay, I got it. But yeah. So Shaw was one of the schools that accepted me. My dad went to he went to go visit it for me. before I got there, and I'm on the phone with him, and he's like, "This is a very great campus. This is awesome. This is beautiful." And in my head, I'm getting this,
They want to set you up.
I'm getting there. I'm like, man, okay, all the movies that I've seen with colleges and whatnot, I'm like, man, and like the only reference that I have was like drumline for an HBCU. So, I'm like, okay, this was up. That's all right. I'm in there. Me and my mom pull up, and I'm like, dude, what? Jesus Christ! Like,
he said, was I convicted?
Like,
this club fan?
Like, no. What did you see? Like, did they put up? They had to send you to a totally different school, like a satellite campus or something? Because
the people and the academics. He got there, and he was like, "I can see my son thriving, like a rose rising from concrete."
Well, but yes. So yes, that was my experience, and yes. Pretty much when my mom left me there, it was a very big culture shock because I've been, without my parents, plenty of times, but in an environment where I'm now going to school and being around all these Black people at once, you start to learn that Black people will be Black people no matter where they come from.
Okay, so full disclosure, what I know you weren't prepared for, coming from Germany, and that most people are not prepared for, is the mixture of blackness from around the country that descends on schools, especially the private schools like Shaw or Johnson C. Smith. All these universities are really good universities, but that generally attract, students from up
DC.
north, or DC. Or like, and it could be a lot because you don't know. Like, I used to. A couple of my buddies went to Shaw, and I used to go over there for parties from time to time, or just to hang out, or other things. And I'm from North Carolina, and it was challenging for me to get acclimated to the breath of the diaspora on Shaw's campus.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking back on it, I met some very great people.
Definitely.
That's definitely one thing that I will take away from that. But I will say, if I had to do that over again, and going from Shaw and visiting some of the other HBCUs, A&T notably, I was like,
course, Aggie pride. I had to put that out there.
When I saw A&T, and this was like after they built like all the new dorms and all that other, all the buildings, I was like,
something about that blue and gold, baby.
Well, and that's the other thing. My high school was blue and gold, so I would have fit right in. Like,
so what you're saying is, you went to Shaw and you realized that A&T was drumline.
Yes,
that's what you realized.
Yes,
they did rip us off. They ripped all of our swag and tried to throw it on the screen, and then not even credit us for it. But that's a whole nother story for another day.
Back then I went to Central. I visited Central.
Central's dope too.
Well, I mean, yes,
academically, definitely the people are cool.
Now it is, but I mean, the buildings were falling apart. Like, I mean, that's.
We went through a time where there was a lull in funding, and they got stuck with really old buildings. They tried to make the best out of it. Like, they're really moving now, but just like A&T, for a minute, A&T didn't have no new buildings, and then all of a sudden they started really renovating, which they've done a really good job. I'm really proud of my alma mater. Really proud of Central too, and the other HBCUs in North Carolina. Not home anymore.
And there was a point in my life where I kind of resented going to an HBCU. And to a point to where I was even on the train of, maybe they're not needed anymore. Seeing as how we're in, the times that we are now, and I come to realize that I was very hasty in saying that. I just think that it needs to be more modernized. Because some of the classes that I took, especially when I transferred here to Charlotte, and so the reason why I left Shaw, I did 2 years at Shaw, and I don't know why I say that like I did time,
we all know why you said it that way. But we all know it's okay. Perspective.
My final straw was me and my friends that came back from playing basketball. Still an avid hooper. I still take any one of you, so whatever, it don't matter.
Probably good.
Yeah. And one of my things, I would always treat my friends like, I was that friend that was like, "Hey man, you hungry?" And my friends be like, "Yeah man, nah man, I ain't got no money." I was like, "I didn't ask if you had money. I just want to know if you want to go eat." Like,
Don't you just hate when you ask that question to people? They be like, "I ain't got no money." I can't ask you about that. So,
yeah,
what do you want to eat?
yeah. If I want to know if you have money, I would say, "Do you have money to go eat with me?" I just asked, "Do you want to go eat?" But anyway, we went to a gas station to get a slushie. That's like my after ball thing. That's just what I do.
Completely healthy. Go on.
Whatever. And what happened was, while we were in the store getting our slushies or whatever everybody wanted, the store got held up. Like legit, like two guys walked in there, and one guy with a gun, one guy with a revolver. And this is a memory that I will always have with me, because as you walk into the gas station, straight ahead from the entrance was the slushie machine.
Oh, so
And
you were in the field of view.
well, here's the thing. I have my back turned to the wall, and when you walk in from the entrance, the checkout station is right there to the right. So I'm fixing my slushie, and all I hear is "put the money in the bag." And I was like, well, yeah, put the money in the bag. I was like, and this is the way I processed it. I was fixing my slushie, and I was just like, put the money in the bag. Where if I?
So what you're saying is you were not acclimated.
I was not acclimated at all. Like,
Your head was not on a swivel. You were not just in your surrounding areas.
look. I'm a very aware guy, but I didn't think I would have to watch my back. So I'm fixing my slushie, and when I hear "put the money in the bag," my mind was like, where have I heard that before? Like, I've heard that somewhere.
I mean, that's weird, but if that's the way you want me to pay, I'll put the money in the bag. It's all good.
Right. And but something tells me to slowly look over your shoulder, and that's where I see, these guys have the gun to this lady's head.
Ooh.
And my friends are down the aisle this way from me. So I'm looking to, I slowly turn my head to them. They're hiding behind the aisle and looking at me like, "Yo, come here. And there's also a door behind them. And I look at that door and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to finish making my slushie. And hopefully by the time I'm done, they're gone.
Dude, what other choice do you have? You did the right, like, you're not going to intervene. You're not going to run away and call attention. So if you got to act like they're not even there. The only way to do that is to finish your slushie.
So I finished making my slushie, and as soon as I turn around, they're gone. I'm like, whew.
Now, did you pay for the slushie?
Now I'm getting to that. They called 911, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Detective show up, blah, 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 whatnot. And he, the guy brings me to his car. I slushie still in hand. And I begin to talk to him, drinking my slushie.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, no, I didn't pay for the slushie.
You robbed him too, huh? It was just obvious.
Look, mine was just.
I was waiting on it.
Mine was just. Hey, call it collateral damage, okay?
They got $200. I got them for $2. So you got $202.
So I mean, but yeah, overall, like in the situation, it was very serious. But then afterwards, like after my brain processed that, and I woke up the next day, and I was just like, I lie to you not. I talked to my friends the next day. I was like, look, man, I ain't gonna lie, I'm out. I was like, yo, I'm out. I can't. I've already had to. I've been dropped in Black America. You guys are freaking weird. First off, to say the least. And then as I feel like I'm hitting my stride, I was just like, yeah, I'm done. But then also there are some external factors, like my mom passed in 2019, right before during my sophomore year, so right in the middle of it, right after Christmas. And then my parents
2009?
2009. Yep.
Okay, so you said 2019. I was like, sophomore year.
Oh yeah, sorry, 2009. Yeah.
And then now? No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
and then my parents were already building a house in Charlotte. My sister was getting ready to move to Charlotte, so it was just, yeah, I was just like, yeah, no, because I mean, I'm pretty sure if I told my dad I was going back to Charlotte, he would have been like, oh, okay, well, we'll make other arrangements, blah blah, whatever. But I was just like, yeah, I told them, I was like, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Hey, you got to know when your limit, man. Like,
yeah. But I mean, like I said, HBCUs on the other hand, I think I've changed my view on that. I do think that they just need to be a little bit more modernized, get out of some of the super old traditions that they have. Yes,
Like, well, hold on, wait a minute. Like what?
So, one of the requirements as a freshman was I had to have this weird suit jacket and I had to attend service a certain amount of times a year in order to move from a freshman to a sophomore. But none of these weird classes that you had to go to church for counted towards anything.
Hey, man, listen. So that is one of them Shaw unique.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let me back up because I was about to have a joke, but no, seriously. Most of the private HBCUs have something of that, right?
Yeah.
Like they have this rites of passage that you attend to make sure that you are sufficiently acclimated and have a sense of what the university stands for, so that as you continue to matriculate in your academic career, you carry that with you. Like, Auntie kind of has it, right? I know Morehouse has it, Johnson Smith has it. Like a bunch of these universities have this thing because it's important for you to have that bonded shared experience. I'm really big on shared experiences, right?
Bonded.
And one of the
Yeah,
things that you
exactly.
do
Bonded.
is, it creates it's supposed to create a shared experience that binds you to the university, whether you hate it or love it. You're still experiencing it with everybody in your class. And so, it's for a lot of experiences, for a lot of people, it's stupid until you've gone through it, right?
Yeah.
And the shared experiences that you have with people, it provides value after the fact. In the moment, I get it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I get it. But those are the things that make them unique, right? Like, because each one of them has its own, like, for A&T, it was the financial aid building and the labyrinth that was the financial aid. First of all, it being way too small for the university that it was at. Second of all, for the lines being way too long and the people that were there loving the students, trying their best to help the students while many times being handcuffed, right? Great experience. I've had some of the best experiences on college campus anywhere, because I went to NC State first and then I went to A&T, right? There, like, it's one of those things where you all know that you're going to have this experience and it bonds you together. Also, things like homecoming, GO,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and the things that you would participate in GHO, at A&T is the gospel concert and the gym jam, and just the general swagginess of us being together on the football field while celebrities fly in and helicopter in just to hang out with us. All of that, really, really puts a stamp on your college experience in a way that, should provide value even beyond the academics, which are top notch, right? Definitely top notch.
So how diverse was A&T? Because I will say Shaw, like I said, is a smaller school. So that's where I wished I just went to a HBCU with a slightly bit more diverse. Because like I said, I come from a diverse background. So if I went to a PWI or a predominantly white institute, that's what I would have been used to that for the most part.
Yeah. So you mean student population? Or you mean like teachers, professors?
No, student population. I mean, teachers, they could have been whatever.
So A&T is going to be more diverse than Shaw, because A&T is I'm not sure if Shaw is public. I don't think that it is.
No, Shaw is not public.
A&T is public, right? It's a University of North Carolina system school, so you get public funds, and of course you get in-state tuition, right? Just as a frame of reference, when I went to A&T, I think in-state tuition was like $2,000 a semester, right?
Oh, that's not bad.
Out of state was like $15,000 a semester, and people were still coming. It's one of the reasons why I said I was never leaving the state of North Carolina, because in-state tuition for the University of North Carolina schools rivals the quality of any school anywhere. A&T is one of the best schools in the entire nation. That's bar none. So, shout out to all the Aggies. But it's definitely more diverse, and it's getting more diverse now because of how economically feasible it is. Like minorities at A&T, you know, white, Hispanic, Asians are flocking there, particularly for things like the engineering program, the math program, the science program, the broadcasting program, and lots of other ones that are really flourishing now. Like the engineering program at A&T is one of the, like, they're one of the best producers of engineers in the United States, right?
Now, I will say, I found it
weird
weird that the white people got scholarships at HBCUs.
Hey man, yo, it's such a juxtaposition of things, right? Like, why are you? Okay, this is gonna sound real bad, but we got to have guys play on the baseball team. Come on, man. Come on. I didn't say that. You're gonna edit that out in post. No, what I was saying is you. It is definitely, there are definitely minorities there, and they see the value, right? You get on the field, you play with these D1 athletes, you get a good education. So why wouldn't they? I just wish that we had the same kind of reciprocity at these PWIs outside of basketball and football. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So, but okay, let's regroup. And let me get a palate cleanser by saying this.
What's that?
If I was Will Smith, I would be divorced now. I'm telling you right now that if I was Will Smith, I would be divorced, because at this very moment, I'm saying to myself, you can have the dead guy. Like, I'd be like, I chose to love you, but what I'm not going to choose is this embarrassment any longer. Now, I'm not casting aspersion on anybody's relationship. Will's a grown man. They have an understanding or whatever.
Now, 3 strikes. Well, honestly, at that point, 2 strikes or something like that.
Okay. So for people that don't know, we're married males, and we have a bit of pride about ourselves, and we have a special place in our heart for Will Smith. All that being said, in the last 7 days, I believe his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, posted a video of her and Tupac dancing together to a Will Smith song just hours after he posted a very heartfelt message. And I'm thinking to myself, and here's the kicker, right? So this video was clearly shot on a VHS camera. So she would have had to legacy box that joint and get it digitized, then load it to her phone or her computer for her to post it onto the internet. And my question is,
why?
Bruh, you can have any woman in the world.
And literally, even Lisa Ray came out and was like, I thought he was a square. I'm sorry. I want him.
All I'm saying is, like, okay, from the show notes, I don't want to hear about none of your exes. None of them. I'm not gonna name mine. I'm not even gonna talk about mine unless it's like parenthetically or to make a point of how they screwed up and I got the right one, right? Because that's completely the case. You know, amazing people.
Oh yeah.
But I don't want to hear about your exes at all. I don't want to hear about their name. I don't hear about what they bought you. I don't want to hear about
here now. I'm the guy who's got now.
Not only do I have now, I've erased them from your universe. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Because if they were worth anything, you'd be with them. And clearly I was the better person. So I want to hear about your exes, right?
She's toxic. Like, she's the definition. She's the embodiment of toxic.
And if you ignore any other stuff that happened 3 years ago, you can't. Listen, if you are a woman and you're listening to this portion, thank you for being on as long as you did.
Yes.
What I will tell you is that men have this thing called pride, right? They have this thing called pride. And the pride that they have is something that they can control if they love you normally, generally, right? But over time, if you keep like digging at it, it wears away. And it gets to a point where men can become vindictive and unpredictable, men that were normally not that way. And as we saw when Chris Rock got slapped on stage, live TV, clearly Will Smith's pride has been degraded to the point where we don't know what he's gonna do. He's probably gonna jump out of a plane tomorrow just to clear his head. Like he's falling with the parachute on just because he don't want to hear no more what's going on. You know what I mean? Like wind's going by, he's like,
well, first off, that's what rich people do. They can do stuff like that to clear their head.
True.
The rest of us, we gotta sit in our house and with the same person
and ask her why you post that video again. Look, we can't go out and get our own apartment because it's too expensive because of inflation. Now we got to sit there and be like, yo, why'd you post that video again? Like,
now we got to confront our problems because we're poor.
Yeah. Talk about an uncomfortable conversation. I mean, like for real, like
she is so like her sole purpose in this life is to tear this man down. Has to be.
Well, I mean, you remember when they used to be relationship goals?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Well, except for the fact that, and then when they came out with the fact that they might have like an open marriage and like other people and some other BS, and it was just like,
well, I mean, even before that came out, it became very, very clear.
Yeah,
people relationship goals, and let me caution anyone that's talking about relationship goals: be very, very clear about what you see, and be very well aware that there's a whole life that you don't see. So don't be like throwing relationship goals on people's names because it ain't what you think it is, right?
I mean, even Jay-Z and Beyonce, the elevator incident. So,
not even that. Okay, since we're there, if you go back and listen to her music, I was reading this woman's Twitter thread, right? She's like, if you go back and listen to her music, he was putting her through it from day one. Like, if you go back and listen to her music, he has not been a good husband for like, I think they got married. Same year we got married, I want to say. Like, he's only been a good husband for like the last 2.5 years.
Well, I mean,
just had money and power, and a flow. Yeah. So I mean, you can't be like relationship goals because you don't know what it takes to make this sausage, baby. You don't even know if you like the sausage. You just like how it looks.
Right. Exactly. It's very, very interesting. And I mean, come on. Of course they weren't. Like, they're two celebrities and they were like mid-level celebrities at the time. Then they became like ginormous celebrities. And all I know is that Solange was like,
who was mid-level celebrities?
Well, okay. Jay-Z was a mid-level celebrity. Beyonce was top notch.
Okay. Now we're into the music talk. I gotta stop it here because I had a conversation this weekend about East Coast bias, right? And because I was trying to explain to my wife's cousin's fiance why the East Coast doesn't have the same. It's okay. Doesn't have the same level of respect for artists like UGK or Scarface or E40 or Too Short, things like that. And it was because on the East Coast, there's like an echo chamber that only talks about East Coast stuff, right?
Right.
And none of that, right? And I also had the chance to explain to her that I was outside when Hard Knock Life 2, when in my lifetime, Volume 2 dropped with Hard Knock Life on it. And unless you were outside standing in line to buy those CDs, you don't understand what Jay-Z was at the time. Like Jay-Z, Nas, Drews, they all dropped on the same freaking day. No, Jay-Z, Nas, and Tribe, I think it was, all dropped on the same. They all had platinum albums. We all stood outside. I was in the room listening to Angus's home entertainment center that he brought and he put in the room. Yo, we was bumping it out of our room because we were the first ones with the CD. Well, he was the first one with the CD. I was just there hanging out. But like, unless you was outside, you really didn't have a very good frame of reference as to what this thing was. Like, he went at that when Hard Knock Life dropped. He wasn't no mid-level celebrity. My man's was big. Like, I was there. I went to the Hard Knock Life tour. I was there with him and DMX and Rough Riders. I was there in Greensboro Coliseum when they started shooting after we had to run. Like, it was a thing. It was something to behold.
Your age is showing, right?
Huh?
You know
I
your
don't care.
age, bro.
Look, I don't care. That concert was so dope. It was so amazingly dope because that was the first. First of all, it was the first time that you had that kind of hip hop concert that big, in that big of a tour
Mm-hmm.
in Greensboro Coliseum like that. Like we
Mm-hmm.
had everybody there, and granted, they came from homecoming, and they should have because it's A&T's homecoming, G-Ho, but it was still the biggest thing going, and he
Mm-hmm.
was the biggest rapper on the face of the planet at that time when that dropped. So. But yeah, no. Relationship goals, be very, very careful
Very, very,
about
very.
who you make your relationship goals. But let me switch. Let me switch since we're in music. I have two
Yeah.
things I need to talk about because I have beef. My gears are grinding because yesterday
Get it off your chest, bro.
I found out that one of my favorite artists, Amerie,
Mm-hmm.
had an album that is critically regarded as her best album,
Mm-hmm.
and it was never released in the United States. Now,
Well, you know, to me, she fell. It's like it's not like fell off as in she wasn't good, but it's like
she
to me,
didn't.
she fell off the map after what was it? Why don't we fall in love or something? That was the
No,
song.
she didn't. No, she didn't. She had one thing. She has two classic summer songs, two
Mm-hmm.
hot 100 songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she got a bunch of R&B top 10 songs,
Okay.
right? Why Don't We Fall in Love? And one thing. They play it at the beginning of every summer,
Yep.
right? That's how you know it's summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you know it's summer.
And then you get summertime that plays. Yeah.
And then you get summertime that's played. Put a pin in that. I got to come back and ask you a question. But she had an album called doggone it. I should have written it down.
Let's see if we can.
But it's her. If you go to my Facebook page, it's on there because I was venting. Because what I found out was her beef with Columbia, and Columbia music has a special place in my heart for me to loathe it. They took her album, they created her album, and then they never released it in the United States. It released in the UK, and it was like top 10 on the UK charts for weeks. Critically acclaimed as her best album, better than Amerie, better than the album with One Thing on It.
Was it recently, like in 2014?
No. It was For the Love, something about love. I can't remember what it was. But what I do know is when I went and I found two songs that I could stream off of it, and these songs are freaking amazing, and I can't stream it anywhere. So you know what I got to do? I have to buy a CD.
Ooh, who does that? Do they even still sell CDs?
I gotta buy
because I love it.
Because I love it. A used new CD, right?
A new to you CD.
Yeah, a new to me CD, right? And then I gotta find a CD player.
Oh, good luck with that one.
Because I ain't got no CD player anywhere. I don't even know if my PlayStation plays CDs. Like, I don't want to blow my PlayStation up trying to make it play CDs.
Like, spin it on. What is this?
It would shut itself down like a CD? Really? This is what we doing? And then I got to digitize it if I ever want to have it on my phone. Because you can't even buy it. Can't buy it on Amazon. Can't buy it on Spotify. Can't buy it on YouTube. Can't buy it on TIDAL. You can't buy it anywhere in the
store. Actually, listen to TIDAL, but whatever.
Whoa. I don't listen to TIDAL, but I have a subscription. Let me tell you why.
It's just what I was saying. Who listens to it?
No, let me tell you why. Because I dabble when we have like functions around the house. I dabble in DJing, right? Shout out to my man DJ Oz, one of the best DJs in the entire nation. If you have not heard, I have so much respect for him because DJs, y'all are freaking amazing. I dabble in DJing, right? I got the little rig, and, I'll be chicka. I'm not good at all. I'm not good at all. But I dabble in it, and sometimes I can make the songs. Like, I can't like put two songs together and make them dope together, but I put the ends together so that they cross over.
Yeah.
I worked in radio, right?
Yeah.
Dang, where was I going with that? Oh, anyhow, so I do that, and so I have a DJ rig, but I gotta get the CD so I can have it digitally. And Oh yeah, that's where I was going. That's why I have TIDAL, because the DJ rig that I use only uses TIDAL. I can't use Apple Music with it.
Okay.
That's why I have a subscription.
It's a necessity. Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Dang, you make it sound bad, man. TIDAL is pretty dope.
TIDAL is Apple Maps when it first came out.
Wow, that's slander. That is slander. I'm not sure how far you meant to go. I just know how far you went. Okay.
Hey man, look, I'm just putting it out there. I'm saying what everybody else is thinking.
I mean, it's got some really cool features. It has some really cool playlists. It has really cool functionality as far as looking through the music, like writing credits and producing all that good stuff. Like, it's got some really cool stuff attached to it. And if it were native on my iPhone, I'd probably be using it. But because it's not, I only use it when I like cosplay as a DJ.
You cosplay as a DJ, okay?
I can't even say I'm a DJ, dude. I was this weekend when we went to Galveston. My wife's Aunt Crystal's birthday. Her husband Lance got a house on the beach. It was dope, right? So they're out eating and they're playing cards. So I'm gonna do the DJ thing because I got a speaker, I got my DJ rig. I'm a DJ. I'm not using the rig today, but my playlists, they normally are dope, right? Playlists are dope. And I was in my bag. I was all into the late 70s, early 80s funk. It was banging. And somebody looked at me and said, "Why are you playing all that old music?" And I was like, "Dang, killing." Thought I was killing. And so I had to switch it up. And then it was at that point I realized the DJs that keep the party going are amazing people. Because I thought I was doing it and I was not doing it at all. They were waiting on me to hit next.
Well, speaking of that, so DJs pretty much curate music. So I will have to say, anybody who's watching this podcast, if you've ever been in my car back between 2007 and 2011, back when I used to burn CDs, and honestly, CDs and music and acquiring them is how I really figured out that was really meant for IT. But anyway,
By stealing and burning CDs?
Look,
you have a history here, buddy, of I'm gonna let it go. It'll come back.
Yeah. But yeah, so DJs really curate music. And what I used to do is when I made a CD, it had to have a specific theme to it. And all the music had to go. Like, and the kids nowadays don't understand that because they didn't have the giant flip book of CDs where you kept it under the passenger seat, and you knew exactly where it was. Like, hey, yo, put that other CD in. But you also gave your CDs titles. But
yes.
So not only did the music have to be right on the CD, but also it had to be in the correct order. So then it would take hours to curate that in such a way that you're like, all right, yeah, no, I can't put that. That doesn't go like right after that song. So I need to put this. Okay, yeah, that's good. This. And then finally when you do it and then you burn it and then you forget that one song, you're like, I gotta waste a CD now. Like, oh, jeez, now I gotta pull another one out, put it in.
First of all, the fact that you still have that spindle and it actually has CDs on it. Yo,
I knew you love it.
Don't talk about me being old again, bro. You got a CD of unburnt discs?
Yes, it's just as a reminder of what used to be.
Right. I was supposed to believe that. You had it just accessible at that moment.
It's always right. Look, I see it, and I keep saying, I'm gonna throw this out, but I'm like, no, it's nostalgic. I gotta keep it.
Okay. Low key, I got a bunch of CDs on a spindle like that in a box that the mixes were so fire that I just couldn't throw away.
Like, and that's the thing. All the CDs, like the real good ones, it was like fire mix, and hot samples, hot mixes. It was never a regular name. It always had to have fire or hot on it, and that was
get that real good CD that said fire too. That's the joint. So the first one, when it's fire as you thought it was, so you did it again and you got it just right, man. Please.
Oh my goodness! Wait, is it? Is it?
And
it's not real until it says Case Logic.
Yo, for real, you spent good money on that case. That's like a $40 case, man. Yeah.
Okay. So for all the kids watching, this is what the inside of a blank CD like. This was it 1, 2, 3, 4, and probably
And
is
he was
like
going to a museum today, man.
double-sided. Well, so this has games on it. So this is all Xbox 360 games, but whatever.
Still a
But
museum.
yes, it is. But yeah, so all the hot games, Dragon Ball Z, Budokai 3, come see me. I don't worry about it. I have a PlayStation 2 upstairs that still works.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
For that one game specifically, I keep a PlayStation 2. If it ever dies, I go get another one.
Wow, that's loyalty. Oh man, gosh, that's crazy. I remember. Oh, dude, I was on TIDAL last night, working. Okay. So what you don't know is TIDAL has a higher quality of music than Apple Music. Generally speaking, like they have
Outside of
Wi-Fi.
lossless? It's better than lossless?
It's a higher. Okay, from what I understand, right? The files are better. It's like FLAC 2. It's like FLAC. It's like lossless too, but it's like a higher quality. It's supposed to be, or at least it's marketed as such, and it feels that way when you listen to them in your earbuds. So I was on there listening to them, and I ended up I forgot how it happened, but I ended up back in Glenn Lewis's album. Now, that's probably before your time.
I was just about to ask.
It's who is okay. Think the in the same year that Music Soul Child and Music Soul Child, Neo, NDRE, Jilly from Philly, like that year when Neo Soul picked up, there's this one guy that had an amazing album during that 2 or 3 year period, and it was so different, right? Because I've been big in R&B for a long time, but it was so that guy right there, and his first album, right? He's only got 2 albums to speak of at the moment, right? One, this album, the first album, and then 2014, 13, right? And it was such a good album, at least for me at that point in my life, that I used to listen to it all the time when I was driving. Now, I'm not going to tell you where I'm going because I just said I don't talk about exes. And I'm not telling you how long it took me to drive there because we just said we don't talk about exes. But just understand that this album kept me sane for quite a long time. Amazing album. As are all the other artists I just named. Really big into neo soul at that time. And I remember really enjoying it because I had to buy the CD and then I burned the CD. Like I bought it and then I made a copy of it only because I didn't want the CD to get worn out. Pretty dope. Dang, I feel old now.
Yeah, man. Like
I feel old.
Hey, man, you said it.
Dude, and the crazy part is, so you got your Case Logic, right? I didn't have the big one. Like you got the 100 one. I had the 21. But I had it in the passenger seat of my Ford Escort manual, right? 2-door Ford Escort LX hatchback manual with, wait for it, 4 6x9s in it. Ooh. Now, may not sound like a lot to you, but if you know how big a Ford Escort is, a 1992 version of it, you'll know that the 6x9s do not fit in the door well. So you know what I did? I took the door apart. I cut the door well to fit the 6x9s. I had to take off and reassemble the crank mechanism because it was crank roll down the window, and I had to make it smaller. It was all black, and I had 14-inch rims on it. I had to make the crank mechanism smaller, right? Just to roll down the window, and I only did it successfully on the driver's side. The passenger side, you can roll down the window. Hey, you're in the passenger seat. It is what it is. But yo, that was such great memories. Thank you for this trip down memory lane.
Hey man,
I feel good now.
Look, my first car was a 98 Mazda 626 black with leather seats.
Wait a minute, that was the round version, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. I remember that vehicle fondly. Yes.
Oh, I think I found the exact color that I had too. Oh my gosh. This is it. Come on.
Hey, but here's the crazy part. That 626, you were big stuff in that 626.
I was, exactly.
Right? That was the player vehicle, if I remember correctly.
I
All the players
mean,
had on.
it was.
Okay.
I was all right.
Note to the viewing audience: anytime a black man is talking about something and his voice goes up 3 octaves and he has nothing to say, you know that you've hit the nail on the head. Back to your regular schedule viewing.
Tinted windows, sunroof. It was
I started to call it something, but I ain't trying to get you in trouble.
And then, here's the thing that made it super, super old school. I got it from my uncle as pretty much a gift to for going to college.
Shout out to uncles.
Oh yeah, it had the bead seat cover. Bead seat cover. Oh yes,
if those beads could talk. Those beads could talk. I'm sure they've seen some things.
Oh my gosh, I missed that car. That was my favorite car.
Yo, Mazdas, low key back in the day, Mazdas had, they were either you had, if you were a player, you had an Accord, or not an Accord, you had a Legend. You had a Legend.
Yep.
Or you had a 626, or if you were a big ball, you had a 929. What you know about that? Uh-oh.
Or what was it? Or the Mazda
Millennia. Yeah, okay. So the Millennia was the successor to the 929. The 929 was the big ball of Mazda. Like you had a 929, people, you had money. Like because there wasn't a whole lot of them, but they were supposed to be ultra luxurious, and it was like kind of rare to see them. But if you had one, like,
yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, I never saw one.
I've ridden in one.
Nice.
When as nice as it sounds. I mean, the car was nice.
Yeah.
I just wish I could forget the ride.
Like, I mean, these kids nowadays wouldn't understand, but man, hold on, look at this interior.
Oh, please don't do it. You're about to date me.
Look at this. No, I mean, not in a bad way. Like, because I understand. Like, my dad drove an '89 Volvo 240 GL until I was 16. So that for me, that's the car. That's all I ever knew.
Man, that 929, man. Oh my goodness. I mean, like many Mazdas, like the transmission gave out after like 150,000 miles.
Like,
but
that's a sexy interior.
For the first 150, Gucci.
Yeah.
Hey, couldn't tell.
Look at the buttons down here.
Nothing. Dude, you don't understand. That was Mazda's attempt at luxury before it decided that it couldn't really do luxury. It could only do like pseudo luxury.
Like or remember those the cars. This is how you knew you were fancy back in the like early 90s, mid 90s, well, the 90s. If you got in the car and the seatbelt slid forward.
Stop. Okay, so that's a misnomer. I'm gonna tell you why. Because my Nissan Sentra had that joint. Yeah. It was technologically advanced.
Yeah, when you used to get into a car and the seatbelt said to let you in, it was like, what?
Little did we know that was a trap. Yo, that was not as dope as.
Well, it was so cool because it was like, man, I don't have to put a seatbelt on. But the only thing was, it just did the side. The other, the lap belt, you had to do yourself.
You could still go through the windshield with that thing. Like you still go through.
Just in two pieces though, because it was gonna cut you in half as you went forward.
Bro, you don't even know. You don't even know. But yeah, no, man. It's ironically, it's right after the U.S. decided that it wanted seatbelts. So yeah, we were glad to have it. Definitely.
Yeah, I remember that was a dangerous time in the 90s. Kids could ride up front, didn't really need seatbelts on.
Yo, they used to let us ride in the bed of pickup trucks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The most dangerous thing ever. We used to just ride, just roll 45 down a dirt road in the bed of a pickup truck. What were we thinking?
Oh, my God.
Anyhow, and anyway, as my mother would say.
Man, the good old days.
Anyhow. Oh, okay, last thing. I need your reaction, and then we're gonna have to wrap it up, right?
Yeah.
Are the Bucks gonna win the NBA championship?
Oh yeah. So It's yet to be seen. On paper, yes. At least they're definitely getting out on paper they're definitely getting out the East, but we still have to, because Boston is a problem. They do have Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Kristaps Porzingis, which honestly, with that lineup, will probably make them the tallest and longest in the NBA. At least starting five. So it's definitely gonna come down to the Bucks and Celtics, but I think the more exciting team will definitely be the Bucks. Will they win the championship? It depends. I have to see who's coming out of the West.
Well, let's back it up in. Are they winning the East? You got them winning the East?
It's too early to tell. I can't give that prediction yet.
Okay. I'm going to say they should win the East.
They should.
And let me tell you why. When Chris Middleton, the 1 year that Chris Middleton could get his own shot consistently, they won the championship, right? Dame can get his own shot anytime he wants, in any offense he wants.
And he's a closer.
And he's a closer. He's that good. He can do it in the first quarter. He can do it in the fourth quarter or overtime.
He's a closer.
That good.
Yep.
But what it does is it puts Chris Middleton either on the wing or in the corner as a spot up 3-point shooter, or as a catch and go
3-and-D.
He's Klay Thompson now.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, and I think that was always his problem. And I always said this, like the Milwaukee Bucks, like Chris Middleton. Yeah, he can score in volume, but he's not the guy to take the critical shots.
No,
when things are going bad, you don't put it in his hand and expect him to create something out of nothing. No, he's not that guy.
Here's the other thing. Regardless of what the trade looks like now, realize that the Bucks gave up nothing
to
get him.
Right. Pretty much the Drew Holiday.
Might be something.
Which Dame is a better version of Drew Holiday anyway. So, all right, cool.
They didn't give up any of their bigs. They still got Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez and Robin Lopez. And, the two, Giannis's two brothers, right? They didn't give up. They didn't give up DiVincenzo. They still got Dragic on the bench. They still have the rights to Crowder. Like, they gave up nothing to get Dame. And if they stay healthy, you got a lineup. You got Lopez, Giannis, Middleton, or Lopez.
You know what?
Portis, Giannis, Middleton, Dame.
You know what?
Tell me what team is going to stop them, not just in the pick and roll, but you can't help off of those shooters. You help off of Giannis, he goes to the basket. You help off of Lopez or Middleton or Portis or DiVincenzo, they're knocking down the three. Like,
you know what? You got a decent point there.
Really good.
You got a decent point, because here's my thing with Boston. Like, honestly, Boston has this last year to prove this whole Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum thing, when they're practically the same player and they have no idea who's supposed to have the ball at times. Like, you've done this long enough. People have always said, yes, this is going to be one of the best teams ever, blah, blah, blah. It's like, if this doesn't work this year, you got to get rid of somebody. Like, one of the two. It doesn't matter.
They just gave Jaylen Brown the Supermax.
And I will say, if I had to pick, Jaylen Brown's a dog compared to Jason Tatum to me.
But I'd be getting rid of Jaylen Brown. I'm not going to lie.
Jason Tatum looks, I've watched Jason Tatum play. Jason Tatum play, but he looks stiff. Like, he's real stiff, but then he's come up real short in big moments.
He looks uninterested. He's prone to taking a jump shot as opposed to going to the basket to get a bucket when they need a bucket. Like, he'll settle for a jump shot and he'll settle for a hard shot.
He's weak. I'm sorry. LMA, he's weak.
Wow. Did you really want everybody here? You got right into the microphone to say, just going to slander the man like that? I get it.
He's weak.
I'm not saying that he's not. I'm not saying that he doesn't play that way. What I am saying, though, is his value to the team in scoring points and in being a glue guy. Like, I'm not going at the end of the game, I'm not giving it to Jaylen Brown because I don't trust his left hand. I don't trust him to dribble. I don't trust him to gather. I don't trust him to shoot.
But you can't trust Jason either.
Depends on if the shot is hard or not. If the shot is hard, he's going to Kobe it. If it's easy, he's probably going to miss it. That's just how it goes. What about the last 3 years has told us any differently? Think about it. All his big shots in the finals, in the Eastern Conference Finals, have been hard shots. He intentionally drives into people or puts himself in situations where the shots are hard. It's like he's uninterested unless the shot is a Kobe type shot or unless the shot is hard. Which is why.
But then didn't Toronto have to go through the Celtics? Didn't Miami have to go through the Celtics?
I think so.
So like to me, and that's where it's like okay, Miami last year they were on some, I don't know what they were on. They were on Michael Jordan's secret stuff.
They were on Jimmy time. They were on Jimmy time. That's what.
Yeah, whatever they were on. But I mean, but that's the thing. You're supposed to be the team that stops whoever's supposed to think that they're coming through, and you've just olayed them. Like, here you go.
Okay, so here's the thing: the Celtics are never going to win a championship like they're constituted because they don't have the guy. They got a bunch of guys, a bunch of really good. They don't have the guy. The Heat have the guy. They just don't have enough of the other guys, right? They have Jimmy. They don't have enough of the other guys. Milwaukee has the guy, Giannis, and now they got 2 guys.
Yeah, you got 2 guys,
and then right, which means generally speaking, as long as the other guys can defend and rebound, you're good, right? Mm-hmm. It's the reason why everybody's so disappointed in Phoenix because Phoenix is supposed to have 3 guys, right? Or at least 2.
Right. Yeah.
They can't close out. They can't do what you're supposed to do. So you know what I mean? Like Boston's not winning. I have no faith in Boston winning.
True. I don't either. I have a general disdain for Boston, but whatever. You know, that's
disdain aside.
Yeah.
Disdain aside. But yeah, no, I like what that's a darn good trade.
Yeah. Milwaukee came out A+. I give it A+ on that one.
Yeah, and we'll see what GM LeBron does to offset this because I don't think he was calculating on this when they made those signings early in the year. Like nobody.
And here's the thing: he's miscalculated plenty of times. First off, I want to go on record of saying I say this out of love because I love LeBron. I text him every night.
Did you get riled up just there? Did you get riled up? Did you get riled up? Sound like
yes,
you riled up. Go ahead, let's go.
Well, yes, because so you're old enough, but like maybe the generation slightly older than you. Like Jordan was their guy. For me, I do know of Jordan. I have seen his games. I do know the myth around Jordan. I get it. He's like the Black Jesus. I get it.
You don't get it. I'm telling you.
I do. No, I do get it. Believe me. He's the guy that I would be for the longest. And then when LeBron came in the league, not that I put Jordan to the side, it was just like, okay, well now here's my generation's version of greatness.
You mean here's a well-rounded, conscientious, balanced human being that I would like my life to emulate, as opposed to being a hyper-competitive, gambling addict, degenerate that wants the championships. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
My gosh, wow, shots fired. But yes, you're right, 100%. Yes, and hey, I get it. But him playing GM to certain things. So his miscalculations. His first miscalculation was when he said he was leaving Miami to go back to Cleveland, but didn't see that Golden State was becoming Golden State.
Nobody saw Golden State becoming Golden State. That was not a foreseeable situation. It wasn't. It just wasn't.
Either way.
Everybody thought. I mean, miscalculation. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Look, I'm like Schrodinger's cat. I live as if both any permutation of any event is true. You have to plan for each of those, at least for the first 5, because those are most likely. And anything after that, yes, okay, I miscalculated. Yes.
I think I said something similar to my therapist, and it took like the whole session to unwind. I think I said something really similar, and my therapist was like, we were headed in a different direction, and I said that, and he was like, well, we're going to be here for a while. So just so you'll know, you might want to approach that or talk to your guy about it. I'm just, but no, but no, I get it. But okay. real quick. The conversation on Twitter is, would Jordan, even if Jordan did everything that he did, if he was doing it now and LeBron did everything that he did first, would Jordan still be Jordan? Would Jordan still be considered better than LeBron?
Well, so here's the thing. The thing that makes Jordan better than LeBron is the fact that Jordan showed his dominance for 6 years straight.
It was not 6 years straight.
Well, it wasn't. Okay, yes, it wasn't 6 years straight, but collectively it was 6 years. Well, for Jordan, it was 6 years continuously because it was 3 years.
It was 3 years.
I'm talking about, the three-peat, then he took off, and then he came back and three-peated again.
Yeah. So he showed his dominance for 2 sets of 3, right?
Which still has not happened.
You mean it still hasn't happened?
The closest to that was the Lakers in 2000, 2001, and 2002. Or something along those lines. 2001, 2003.
So here's my thing. Here's my thing about that, right? I remember when Jordan won those first 3. I remember when we won the second 3. I remember the 2 years, the year and a half where he was gone, and the second year when he came back and he lost to Shaq and Penny.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I remember the retirement that he had. I remember he came back with the Wizards, and he did amazing things as a 39 and 40-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I remember all of that. But I also remember the years before the first championship.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And so, people are famous for saying nobody ate on Jordan's watch. Everybody ate on Jordan's watch. A lot of people
ate on Jordan's watch.
Right? People are famous for saying, Jordan has 6 championships, and he does. He's 6-0, but he only went 6 times. Like those things really, really matter. And I believe that much like Jordan's issue when he came into the league, when Magic had 5 championships, no, they really didn't want to consider Jordan good until like his 3rd one, right? He was considered Jordan, but he wasn't considered the greatest of all time until like the 3rd one, right?
Yeah.
If he had to, just assuming that they did the same things that they both done, right? If LeBron has the scoring record, he's been to as many finals as Jerry West. He's got 4 of them. He did it with 3 teams. Mm-hmm. Like,
he would have been seen as the great until Jordan would have came in, and assuming that he did 3-peat once and then 3-peat again, they probably would have given it. But now that the roles are reversed, they're like, well, we can't give that to LeBron because. Look, this man lived in the finals for like 10 years straight. Like, whatever.
Here's the other question. How do you think Jordan's gambling addiction would have played on Twitter?
Oh, they would have roasted him.
Right? His gambling addiction.
He would have been canceled.
So when you factor all that in, right? Because the rumor is he was forced to take that year off. Right? He's forced to take that year off. Call it what you will.
Mm-hmm.
But the rumor is unsubstantiated, right? But as someone who lived through that time because of his gambling, right? And so that being considered, like, man, even if LeBron is number 2, you got to admit that if the roles were reversed, I'm not even sure if Jordan sees what was it, year 9, because of everything that was going on around him. Yeah. Like, you can't. LeBron is a unicorn. He's threaded the needle. Like, what's the worst thing you could say about him other than he said, I wanted to take my talents to South Beach? Like, no, literally.
Yeah.
In an era where people are falling and being canceled and being thrown out. Like, dude, Dwight Howard was Superman for like 6 straight years. And then people got rid of him over something that happened on social media. Like, they don't even want to let him back in the league.
Or Gilbert Arenas was like he was budding out to be something like mythical, and then he flashed the gun and he had the gun incident. And that was it for that man.
Jordan was on the golf course betting $25,000 a hole during the finals. Can you imagine that?
What I owe you, 75? All right, cool.
First of all, who bets $25,000 per hole in golf? Let's start there.
Well, people who make that kind of money.
Was during the finals, they'd have crucified him.
Yeah.
He'd have had to have been out and out suspended, not retired.
Yeah. Well, you got those football players that are getting suspended or left and right for, well, first off, they're just stupid. Like, why would you bet on your same sport, you idiots? But whatever.
No burner phone, same sport from Wi-Fi that can be detected. There is no forethought to any of this. Not saying
You could have let your third cousin removed, do the betting or whatever. Come on.
mean, they would have to pull my satellite location to track to nail that to me,
Yeah.
right? Because there's no way that should be easily connected to them. But at any rate,
Yeah.
they'd have nailed them to a wall and walked away.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. I mean, I put it like this. People keep saying, well, Jordan's been to 10 and he's only won 4. Well, you know what? I'd rather go to 10. I'd rather be there instead of be at home.
Jerry West is the logo, not because he won 6. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I'm a big LeBron fan, have been ever since he got in the league. I'm glad he's doing everything. My only issue recently is when he signed that contract with the extension with the Lakers before making them sweat to continue to be contenders.
You got to do it though. You have to, or else they're gonna take the foot off the gas.
Exactly. I mean, and that's exactly what Giannis did. Giannis, he calculated and said exactly what he said in order to force the front office to do something.
That's straight out of Jordan's playbook. And to be honest with you, nobody has done it as effectively as LeBron did, right?
Yeah.
Jordan held out and he got 1-year deals, but he didn't force them to do the personnel moves that he wanted. LeBron has forced them, and he's won with the personnel change. So it's like,
but except for that Russell thing. But then also, like I said, when he signed that extension, I was like, dude, why are you signing this extension? Like, no, you make them sweat. Like, honestly, and here, hot take, and probably unpopular take, but if I was LeBron and I'm in year 20, there's no way I'm carrying teams at this age. What I'm going to do is take my behind to Golden State, and
he wasn't supposed to be carrying teams. He wasn't. He got Anthony Davis specifically so that he wouldn't have to carry a team, and yet still carrying a team.
Well, exactly, and
that's another miscalculation.
And that's why I would not have signed that extension. I'd have been like, look, I got Anthony Davis who every time he stubs his toe, he's out for 6 weeks.
Street clothes.
I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm going to go talk to Steve Kerr and Mike Dunleavy, and I'm going to coast to 2 championships until my son gets in the league, and you can say whatever you want to say.
Legacy won't let him do that.
You said what?
Legacy won't let him do that.
People already want to tarnish his legacy for jumping teams and creating super teams.
Yeah, but not real basketball heads. Not real basketball.
Exactly. Like anybody that says LeBron created super teams is an idiot. I'm sorry, because the super team, what was it? The Celtics, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett. You want another super team? The Jordan's Bulls. Sorry. That was a super team.
You mad? You big mad?
That was a super team.
You want another super team? Detroit
Pistons. Right, Magic's Lakers. Come on now. Let's be honest about it.
Bird Celtics. Right. I'm not talking about drafting. I'm about created super teams.
Mm-hmm.
Right. People forget. Detroit traded for Mark Aguirre.
Mm-hmm.
Helped him win the championship.
Yep.
Had to do it. The Celtics signed what's my man, Bill Walton. Right? People have no idea who Bill Walton was. The fact that he was an MVP and Finals MVP and NBA champion, and he was at the time the most skilled big man to have ever seen the court. Right?
Yeah.
Signed Bill Walton, won a championship. Right?
I mean, what was it? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, Magic Johnson.
I mean, they drafted James. But when they traded. They traded for Byron Scott. Well, Kareem came a long time ago. Kareem had been there for a while. But no, I mean seriously. But I mean, like, super teams are nothing new. They've happened.
Exactly. But it's when LeBron decides the team and then also let's be honest, the Miami Heat were not a super team. It was just Wade and LeBron. Bosh was he was along for the ride.
I can't let you do that. I cannot let you do that to Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh, every third option on the team is along for the ride. Let's start there.
I'm
So
highly critical of of Chris
but
Bosh. I'm
Chris
sorry.
Bosh is a player. He's a 20-10 guy, right?
Yeah.
He was a 25-10 guy on a
Yeah.
bad team where they had no options.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. With the Raptors, they had no options. Yes, exactly.
yeah,
Same with Kevin Love. Kevin Love was the same way.
I think Chris Bosh was better than Kevin Love, man.
In his prime, probably, yes.
But he came and he did what he needed to do as a third option. So, you got 3 Hall of Fame players. That equates to a super team. I get it.
There's some games that Chris Bosh should have been able to take over, and he did not. He cowered from that. And I would never. I would never forgive him for ruining the possible three-peat that LeBron could have had, and would have put him up here. And yes, I do have.
Okay, Damian, it's okay. I understand that the hate is strong with you for Chris Bosh. Many people share your hate. I think it's slightly misplaced, but it's okay. I understand. I understand. Okay. If anyone understands, I understand.
I mean, and then same with this situation. Like, why did Kyrie re-up his contract with Brooklyn when he could have signed with the Lakers? Yes, for the what was it, $6 to $10 million exception, and redeemed himself, won a championship, and would have got the long-term contract that he should have got. Like, what's your problem?
Hey man, we got to bring this to the close. But why would you bring up flat Earth? You can't trust a man that thinks the Earth is flat. You just can't.
And honestly, nature proves that the Earth is round already. Like, why do we have it? If that be the case, why do we have a horizon?
There's so many ways to prove that the Earth is round.
I remember seeing a video where these flat earthers were trying to prove that the Earth was flat, but in turn proved that the Earth was round.
They poked the hole and it did the thing. You can't trust a man that thinks that the Earth is flat. Okay, Kyrie's one of those guys. So no, even though he's the best ball handler that the NBA has ever seen, you can't trust him. Not logically. No,
okay, I give him a slight pass because he's the best ball handler the NBA has ever seen.
I don't. You want to know why? Because he's only the best ball handler the NBA has ever seen by a small margin. And that ain't a conversation that people are ready to have because people are so focused on the now.
Wait, real quick, who's number 2? Allen Iverson?
No. Isaiah Thomas. Easy. Or Rod Strickland, depending upon how far back you go. Like, people forget. Like, you had ball handlers before Kyrie Irving. Really, really good ones. So it ain't like a thing. Like, everybody remembers the UTEP two-step from Tim Hardaway. Yeah, Isaiah Thomas was doing that before Tim Hardaway was. and he was cooking people. He would do that not to get to the cup, but to get to the 15-footer. Cooking. So let's not act like Kyrie is some anomaly. He's great, and he is the greatest ball handler NBA has ever seen, but it ain't by a wide margin. Not by any stretch of the imagination.
True.
So, but anyhow, we said we weren't gonna do sports, and now we've been in sports land. Anyhow, it's all good. It's all good. Y'all came to see that content. Y'all needed to hear it. You need to hear those uncomfortable conversations.
Because they will come back.
We hope they'll come back. Please come back. Please.
They will come back.
I mean, at least stick around till we get the merch going.
Ooh, merch. Yes, we will start to work on that. And I mean, due to our colors, I think like our colors are some of my favorite colors. So
why not understand Miss Earth USA already has the infrastructure. So we working on that. We gonna I'm hoping if I can get out of the doghouse, because I'm in the doghouse right now. I did something stupid. I'm not gonna tell y'all now. I'll tell you when I get out the doghouse. We got out the doghouse. Now, if you don't hear me talk about it next week, you know you need to pray for your boy. But yeah, we're gonna get that up and going because we want to be able to brand ourselves appropriately. But yeah, thank you guys for watching and listening and etc.
Sure. Hey, don't forget, subscribe to us on YouTube. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere you get your audio podcast. Definitely listen to us, and we just want to thank you guys so much for listening to Fear the Hive 1155 podcast. I'm Dom. This is my co-host Steven, and we will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.
There go those buttons again.